Well, that reminds me of something that we did already, I don't know, 15 or 10 years ago or so, that whenever a group makes an appointment for a tour at Bergen-Belsen, the tour guide would look up the place where does this group come from, and then we find connections, maybe because somebody was from that place, ended up in Belsen or passed through Belsen, and find connections like that, and then to be able to address this group and also involve this particular historical information into the tour. This is similar. I don't know if there is something like visiting the stumbling stones nearby. That's not something we do, but we did this other thing.
Pavel?
Well, from the educational perspective, I mean, some of our projects at the site involve looking at the further side of the Auschwitz world, outside of the complex of Auschwitz I and Birkenau, because Auschwitz was in the Interessengebiet, the interest zone, the camp interest zone of 40 square kilometers, 50 subcamps, and there are our project of researching the subcamps, and there are different websites that other organizations also deal, so people can online see a much broader, complicated perspective of the site itself. Also, in some educational programs, we also offer touring some of the places, death marches routes. So going outside of this commemorated institutionalized memory, that's one thing. And there are also several institutions around Oświęcim and Auschwitz Memorial that deal with commemorating smaller places. So there is one type of networking that we can do from the site itself, linking with people, and also when we have teachers coming, we have different competitions for schools where they are encouraged to analyze history in their local environment, maybe find a survivor, maybe find a story of a victim, maybe just think, if there was a deportation from this or other place. In terms of online and social media, I think something that, well, I'm thinking that it may have this function, although not necessarily I did it on purpose, is that for the last several months on Twitter, every 2 hours, I post a name and a person that either is a victim or a survivor. And I always try to, if we have this information, to show where this person was born. And I think that, so we have people starting from, sometimes even the birth date of people who became victims of Auschwitz can be New York, and people may get surprised. Why is a person born in New York City a prisoner of Auschwitz, or somewhere in North Africa, or people born in through France, Belgium, Poland, Russia, and others, and Turkish territory today. So you can see that people can, through those individual stories, people can get more awareness that it's not only the camp, it's not only places from where people were deported, but on this very individual level, which is a key, I think, for understanding more global story of these places. They have this type of thinking that, okay, this person is born where, or maybe I didn't even know that this place exists. Maybe I can just copy and Google this place and the location or a name that I don't know. So hopefully, I don't know, because as I said, it wasn't the purpose of this. People can realize on this geographical scale and on individual level how huge is this network. And I know that it sometimes, when we post these stories and we say that someone was later deported to transfer to Neugamme or Bergen-Belsen, I can see my colleagues from there taking it from there, that maybe they will do some research on their end. And I see some of our followers do research on their own. So this sometimes accidentally, sometimes we can put it as a part of the projects. We can build such different individual private networking, or maybe something more global.
I wonder if there's a really kind of utopian Holocaust memory project there's still to be achieved, where we can create a digital map where you can follow people, not just their kind of the prehistory of the Holocaust and the post-Holocaust, and move between sites, but also not just memory sites as they exist today, but sites that we don't normally think about as memory sites. I'm thinking about a project in Norway where they have I think it's Vesterborg, and they had lots of different testimonies attached to different places in the site, or Theresienstadt, I think it is, I can't remember. But taking it out of the camp and beyond that as well, and linking them together. Stephanie, you were going to say something.
Actually, we tried something like that on a very smaller scale, on the one hand with Iris and Neuengamme, of course, but also previously once with Westerbork in the Netherlands, which is a transit camp from where many prisoners were sent to Bergen-Belsen. So for one occasion, we had set up an installation, a room-filling installation in Westerbork, showing the reconstruction of the Westerbork site, and you could switch also to the Bergen-Belsen site. You could find georeferenced information in each of the reconstructions, and you could virtually follow somebody's story or ordeal, if you like, through these two camps. And of course, our idea was as well to connect this to other sites as well, so that visitors of a certain site or even remotely could could scale the degree of network they can see and they can zoom into or out of and see the dimension of things on a different level.
Iris, did you want to add something to this?
Yeah, there are quite some ideas in this going in this direction. I'm just thinking about the Mensel-Kiezige Museum in Belgium, who are using our 360-degree walk through Neuengamme to give their visitors VR glasses. So because many people from this small village were deported to Neuengamme and died here. So this is the connection, and visitors of the museum in Mensel-Kiezige can virtually visit Neuengamme. This is just a small thing I was thinking about. But yes, I think the individual level Pavel was talking about is so important, and this can appear in a visitor during different occasions. When you visit on site, for example, you see this map of the subcamps and you see the broad scale, but you also can read biographies, and maybe there's a biography map about a football player, and you're also a football player, so there's the connection. So we don't know where is the connection. What Pavel said about places where people are born, yes, this could be a connection, but there's so many more connections. What we also, maybe one last thing, we had this Memoryscapes project where Stephanie was also in it, and with the University of Leeds. I think Tom is also here in the chat. And we had many ideas, and one idea was exactly what Stephanie was describing, to have the broader scale and to be able to zoom into a single life, but also zoom out to see the amount of concentration camps who were existing. Or another project was to connect Bergen-Belsen, Westerbork and Neuengamme by this history of the Anne Frank and the others hiding in the annex, because all three concentration camp memorials, I think it was like this, have the same story, and a visitor could take a real book, and this book can be taken from one memorial site to the other. Sorry, it's a little bit complicated to explain. Maybe Stephanie, you're better in explaining it in English. So what I wanted to say is, so yes, we are thinking about connecting memorial sites, but also connecting our visitors and doing it in a mix of the digital and something you have really in your hands, so that you can really go somewhere and get some more information. Then I don't know if it's understandable what I tried to explain. I'm sorry.
It is. It's wonderful. It sounds like there's just so much. I hate the word innovative, so I'm going to try not to use it. But so much kind of forward thinking about the potentials of the digital, and I really like the kind of repeated comment we've heard today about I think Stephanie, you said something like it would be like photocopying a book if we tried to simulate the physical. And I think kind of trying to think of the digital as something very specific that has all these capabilities of networking, of intelligible data, of algorithms. And there was a question about algorithms we haven't had time to come to. And this, this entanglement of machine and people, but also the local and the global is different from what we can do at a physical site. But we don't want to lose, we don't want it to replace a visit to a concentration camp. We want to allow both of these things to happen.